of our mat with one foot in front of the other like we usually do. And we're going to start out just by bringing our right ear to our right shoulder, drop the chin to the chest, and then left ear to left shoulder, and just gently rocking it back and forth. And we want to make sure when our right ear is over our right shoulder, left ear over our left shoulder, we want to make sure that we're actually pulling our head back so that we are in that ear-shoulder alignment. And when you get to the right side again, I'm going to have you bring your right hand up just to the side of your head and gently pull down. You're not forcing anything. You don't want it to be painful. But we're just gently allowing our ear to get closer to our shoulder, opening that space between the left ear and the left shoulder, and then we're going to drop the left shoulder down. So just hold it here and breathe for a couple moments. Feel that opening up a little bit more with every exhale. Then we're going to drop our chin to our chest, and then we're going to go left ear to left shoulder. Left hand comes up to the right side of the forehead and just gently pulls down. Hold it here. Find that space where you're out of your comfort zone but not in pain. And then drop the right shoulder down a little farther from the ear, so you should feel that opening a little bit more. Take a few deep breaths. Let your exhale lengthen that space between your ear and your shoulder. And then bring it up. We're going to look over the right shoulder, looking back behind you as far as you can. And it's okay if it's not very far right now, but we want to make sure that we're still sitting up nice and tall, our spine is straight, and we're looking back. Then take note of how far back or how close your chin is to your shoulder as we go to the left. We look over our left shoulder, far back as you can, so that nice and tall, pull the shoulders back. And bring it back to center. All right, now this is where the real work happens in getting that curvature back to your cervical spine. We're going to look all the way up. And I want you to just place your hands on your knees and drop your shoulders away from your ears and keep looking up. You're opening your chin and your throat up to the ceiling. And just relaxing here. Take a few more deep breaths, and you'll notice as you breathe here that it's a little bit constricting, so it might be a little bit harder to get a full inhale, get a full exhale, and that's okay. Then we're going to bring our hands up to the backs of our heads and just help ourselves to straighten our head back up so that we're not pulling it on our own. And then we're going to keep our fingertips by our ears. We're going to open the elbows nice and wide. So you should feel as you open your elbows, you should feel your upper back muscles start to work. You're pulling your shoulder blades towards the spine. So keep those upper back muscles engaged and then look all the way up again. So now we're actually helping the neck muscles by engaging our upper back muscles because they're connected to our neck in some way, shape, or form via the levator scapulae muscle group. So we're strengthening those muscles because strong muscles in the back of the neck and in the upper back keeps our spine right where it needs to be. My cat did not want any attention at all day long, and now she's like on the mat with me. I actually had to go for a search to make sure she didn't get out because I didn't see her all day. I don't know why she's here. Now we're going to incorporate our breathing with our stretches. So we're going to exhale, bring our elbows together and drop our chin. Then we're going to inhale, open, squeeze the shoulder blades, look all the way up as far as you can. Then exhale, bring the elbows together again. And just keep following your breath. Inhale, open and squeeze. Exhale, bring it back. Make sure you look up as high as you can, and don't forget to keep sitting up nice and tall so your spine is elevated. Exhale and inhale. Follow your own breath. So if you're breathing quickly, you might be moving quickly. If you're breathing slowly, your movements are going to be a little bit slower. And drop it down. Hands to the thighs. Now we're just going to do a couple hip rolls. So we're going to shift all the way to the right, drop down to the floor, shift all the way to the left, bring it up, and then change directions, taking as far to the left as you can. Now you're gonna notice that your hips wanna raise whenever you go to the left and to the right. And we're using our hands to press against our knees to keep our hips anchored to the floor. That way we're opening up through the lower back, opening up through the hips, instead of just lifting the hips and letting a tight muscle stay tight. By keeping the knees down, we're opening up through the hips. Couple more of these. Well done. And bring it up to the center. Now we're going to do a longer open. So we're going to bring our right hand down to the side. Left arm comes up and over, and we tilt. We want to bring our right rib down to our right thigh. Obviously, it might not reach there, and that's okay. But we're using our hand to press our hip back so that we're keeping our left hip anchored. So our right hand is pushing to the left hip, and you should feel that opening through the side of your lower back. Nice big reach. And then shift sides, nice and slow. So you're going to walk the left hand out, right arm up and over, bringing the left rib down towards the left thigh, keeping that right knee, right hip low. We're pushing through the left hand to keep the right hip anchored to the floor. And remember that neck angle, so keep the chin tucked in. So often when we get tired, especially in plank pose, we want to hang our head down. And this is a time where we want to be mindful of where our neck and our head is. Bring it back up to center. We're going to take a wide stance with our feet. And now we're going to open to the right side. Again, we're bringing that right hip down towards the right side, reaching your toe, your shin, whatever you can get. And then we're going to bring our left arm around, and we're closing our chest down over our thigh. Take a few deep breaths here. Opening up through the hamstring. So whenever we close our chest over the thigh, we're focusing more on the back of the thigh. When we open our chest, as we are going to do now, so open your chest to the front and raise your left arm up and over, you might feel that stretch shift into the side of your lower back, maybe into your hip. And now we're going to follow our breath. So we're exhale, close over the thigh, inhale, open. Remember, keep the chin tucked in. Don't let your head hang down. Exhale, drop down over the thigh. Inhale, open. 2 more breaths. Exhale. Inhale. 1 more. Exhale. Inhale. And then we're just going to shift over to the left side. So grab a toe, grab your shin, whatever you can get. Bring your left rib down towards your left thigh. And then we're going to just close over the thigh, reaching our right arm. So our shoulders are square. If we draw a straight line down from our shoulder, it's going to come on either side of our leg. Take a few deep breaths here, focusing on the hamstring. And then as you inhale, let's open our chest wide to the front. And exhale, close over the thigh. Inhale and exhale, rotating the torso, but keeping both hips steady, and make sure your chin's tucked in. You're looking up, not down. Couple more inhales and exhales. 1 more breath in. 1 more breath out. And bring it back to center. We're going to bend both knees and bring it up to a standing position, and we're going to start with some sun salutations. We have a lot of work that we're going to do on our necks today, so we're just going to do 2 short rounds following 1 movement with our breath, the same one we've been doing in the past, just so you can kind of get comfortable into it. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, right leg steps back. Exhale to plank. Hold your plank, look forward as you inhale, then exhale, lower down nice and slow. Inhale, lift up into baby cobra, squeeze the shoulder blades, look up. Exhale to downward facing dog. Hold it here. I totally forgot what I was doing. I'm sorry. Inhale, raise your right leg. Exhale, step forward. Hold it here as you inhale. Exhale, step the feet together. Inhale, back roll up. Reach your arms up all the way. Palms together. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale to fold. Inhale, left leg steps back. Exhale to plank. Look forward, hold your plank as you inhale, then exhale, lower down. Inhale up into baby cobra. Exhale to downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg raises. Exhale, step forward. Hold this lunge as you inhale, looking up. Exhale, bring the feet together. Inhale, back roll up one vertebrae at a time. Palms come together. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, right leg steps back. Exhale to plank. Keep looking forward for these. Inhale, hold the plank. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, look up, baby cobra. Exhale to downward facing dog. Inhale, raise the right leg. Exhale, step forward. Hold it here as you inhale, look up, lift the chin. Exhale, feet together. Inhale, up, back roll. Palms together, exhale down. Inhale, up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, left leg steps back. Exhale, go back to plank. Inhale, hold. Exhale, lower. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg raises. Exhale, step forward. Hold it here as you inhale, look up. Exhale, feet together. Inhale, back roll. Raise the arms, palms together, exhale down. And now let's take it to the center of our mat in a wide stance. Take a few centering breaths right here. We're going to inhale up, and as we exhale, we're going to bend both knees down. Make sure we're evenly balanced, right foot and left foot. This is working the inner thighs, which are responsible for keeping you balanced when you're doing single leg work. We want to have a slight tuck in our tailbone. We want to keep our abs engaged, so we're pushing our hips forward. And you should notice your lower abs working just a little bit. You're going to notice your inner thighs working. We're going to drop down a little bit lower. Hold it here, really focus. Keep that chin tucked in. A few more deep breaths. Let's get a little lower. Now we're going to bring the palms together, Anjali Mudra, right in front of the heart, and we're going to keep lowering down. You might have to step your feet in a little bit. So we want to go down so low that our hips are almost touching the ground. We're pressing our knees out with our elbows, keeping our hands together. Both heels are down. So if you find that your heels are up, you might need to step a little bit wider. So right now my heels are off the ground because I can't get them to touch. So what I would do is just take one little step out to the side so that I can sink into it. From here, I'm going to drop my tailbone down. I'm going to reach my arms out forward. I'm going to inhale, pull it back, open the knees. Exhale, press forward. Inhale, pull back. Exhale, press forward. Inhale, pull back. Now I'm going to place my hands on the floor. I'm going to push up from my hands. I'm going to lift my hips up so that I'm in a forward fold. If you can't lift your tailbone with a straight leg, bend your knees until your tailbone lifts off the floor. Then from here, I really want you to hang your head down this time. So just relax the face, relax the forehead. Take a few moments to ground yourself. Focus on your breath. Be present. Take anything that you're thinking about for the future or the past. Put it outside of this space so that you can be present on the mat. This is your chance to just be in the here and now. So really use it. Just take another deep breath here. And then back roll up, one vertebrae at a time. Knees are slightly bent. Roll the shoulders back. We're going to take it to the back of the mat now. And we're going to be focusing on some neck exercises. So we're going to start out with an inhale, exhale down to fold. And from this fold, we're going to lift our hands. Our knees are slightly bent here. We're going to lift our hands so that they're behind our back. Raise the arms. Sink down so that your belly's touching your thighs. And then I want you to look forward for this. So you're just holding it here. If you can straighten your legs comfortably with your tailbone still raised, go for it. But if you need to keep that bend, that's okay. But keep looking up. You should feel your upper back engaged. You should feel the muscles in the back of your neck engaged. A few deep breaths here, then let the arms hang down, let your head hang down. From here, we're going to bring the left hand outside of the right thigh. If you want, you can bend your elbow, bring your palms to Anjali Mudra, and open your chest to the right, towards the front of the room. If that's a little too much, you can keep your hand against the thigh and bring your palms together. But above all, I want you to look up. So keep your chin raised. We don't want to look down at the floor. Take one more deep breath here. Bring the palms back down to the floor. Look down. Bring the hands behind the back. Raise the arms. Squeeze the shoulder blades. Look up. Hold it here. We're kind of holding a mini squat, so you should feel your legs starting to work. Your quadriceps specifically. Keep looking forward. And drop the arms down. Relax through the shoulder blades. And now we're taking the right hand outside of the right thigh. I'm going to turn around so you can see what I'm doing. Right hand outside of the left thigh. Knees are bent, hips are back. Palms can be together here, but you're looking up. If you want to take it a step farther, you can bring your hands to Anjali Mudra at the heart center, lifting the elbows, looking up at the ceiling. Hold it here. A few more deep breaths. One more inhale, one more exhale, then lower back down into your forward fold. Drop your head down, relax. Bring your hands to your thighs. Back roll up one vertebrae at a time. We're still at the back of the mat facing forward. Inhale up, exhale back down to fold. Now we're going to walk our hands out into a plank pose. So we're holding this plank. If your wrists bother you, you can also drop down to a lower plank onto your forearms. So you pick the plank that you want to keep. But right now you're holding plank and looking forward. Don't hang your head down. When I train people and they're doing planks or push-ups, I see a lot of this action with the head down. So really work to keep your head up. This is great for the back of the neck. Now what I want you to do is drop the chest between the shoulder blades a little bit more. So you should feel your upper back activate. If this is too much, you can also drop down to the knees so that you're at the base of the quadricep, not on the kneecap. This makes it a little bit of an easier plank for yourself. From here, drop down to the knees. Bring the toes together. We're going to widen the knees and sit back into a wide angled child pose. Forehead comes down to the mat. Take a few deep breaths here. Recenter yourself. Reacquaint yourself with the present moment. And then we're going to come up and give ourselves a couple cat-cows. So we're on our hands and knees. We're going to inhale, drop our belly to the floor and look all the way up, lifting the tailbone. And let's hold this cow for just a moment. You can keep breathing normally, but cow pose is a spinal foundation for a lot of different motions. So when we're in a perfect cow pose, perfect for you, we're working to drop our belly button down towards the floor, but we're lifting our tailbone up towards the ceiling and we're looking all the way up. From cow pose, this sets you up in the perfect lower spine angle to go into downward facing dog or even forward fold. So memorize how this feels at your lower spine, but also take note that when we're looking up and squeezing our shoulder blades, we're really helping to strengthen those muscles in the back of the neck. Now let's exhale, lifting through the center of the spine. Look down And let's hold cat pose for a moment. A lot of times we do cat and cow without really thinking about it because they're pretty easy, but we're not thinking about the physiology or the mechanics of the motion. In cat pose, we're using our abdominal muscles. We're really tightening through our abs to lift our spine and drop our tailbone. When you drop your tailbone or tuck it under, you're using your transverse abdominis, which is the lower portion of the abs. So you should feel your lower abdominals engage. So what we're also doing is we're tucking our chin towards our chest, and we're stretching those same muscles in the back of the neck that we were just working. It's always good to pair a hyperextended spine with a flexed spine. So whenever we pair those, one is for work and the other is for rest. Let's just flow back and forth now between cat and cow, thinking about our neck, thinking about our tailbone, thinking about our core and our lower back muscles, and take note of everything you feel changing as you change from one pose to the next. This takes a little bit of presence because you're not really just mindlessly going through the motions, but you're really trying to feel the difference in your tailbone and throughout your spine. Let's stop at a flat back. And we're going to enter puppy pose. Puppy pose is really good for the back of the neck as well. So with our hips over our knees, we're going to step our arms forward. We're going to sink our chest down towards the mat. So our chest touches the mat and our chin touches the mat. Maybe even your throat. And we're just holding this pose, keeping our tailbone up. And we're pulling our belly button towards our spine. Usually we don't pull the belly button towards the spine. But this one, whenever we do that, it allows for us to lift our lower spine a little bit higher. So take a few deep breaths here. This is a really good passive exercise to open up through the cervical spine to get that letter C back. Then from here, we're going to raise up slightly. We're going to bring our left arm underneath our right, thread the needle. Our left shoulder goes to the floor, our left ear goes to the floor, the right arm reaches over, and we're keeping our hips over our knees for the time being. And this one, we're keeping a neutral neck. You don't have to look up, you don't have to drop your chin down. We're just going for neutral, whatever neutral means to you. Take another deep breath. And then we're going to reach our arms forward. Right arm goes underneath left, right shoulder to the mat, right ear to the mat, and relax into this. Threading the needle is really good for the back of the shoulder. We do a lot of poses where I tell you to squeeze your shoulder blades or squeeze your shoulders or your upper back. And this is a really good one to just relax those muscles and open them. Take another deep breath here. Then bring the palms forward and let's return to puppy pose one more time. Chin to the mat, hips over knees, looking forward. Really relaxing your chest into the mat, pulling your belly button towards your spine. Take a second to ground yourself, to remind yourself to be present. And then gently walk yourself out of that pose. We're going to enter downward facing dog, but before we do, we're first going to go into cow pose. So cow pose, lift the tailbone, look up at the ceiling, bellies to the floor. Now we're going to turn the toes under one at a time, and then we're just going to gradually lift the knees off of the floor, pushing back through our hands. And as we do so, you can start opening your knees up. You can try to straighten your legs, but you want to always have that tailbone turned up towards the ceiling, belly resting against your thighs. If you get to the point where you don't feel your tailbone lifting anymore, or you start to turn it under, you've gone a little too far for your flexibility today. It could change for tomorrow. Now from here, we're going to enter lizard pose. So lizard pose, we're going to raise the right leg. Let's hold this three-legged dog for a little bit. Our hands are on the floor. When we're in three-leg dog, our leg is up in the air, we might be able to drop the left heel towards the floor, and we're gonna open our hip to the front of the room. So we're rotating, bending the knee slightly. This is a variation of three-leg dog, but you should notice your calf muscle opening up in that balancing leg. Take another deep breath here, opening through the hips. And then we're gonna swing the right leg forward towards our hands, but we want it to land outside of our hands. So from the front, the order of limbs is leg, hand, hand. So the leg is outside of the hand. This is lizard pose. And I want you to look up here. Make sure you're looking up. We're not hanging our head down. You should feel your left hip opening in the front. And when you're ready, we're gonna raise the right arm up, opening our chest to the front of the room. Starting to sweat into my microphone. Excuse me for a moment. Keeping that arm up. Now, if you want to hold it here, don't forget to keep that leg straight. If you want to take it a step farther, you can bring the right hand behind your back. If you want to take it even a step farther, you can bring that left arm outside of your left thigh and really focus on that twist, lifting through the back leg. Open the chest and breathe. But if you want to stay here too, that's fine. Drop the hand down. We're going to drop this back knee down for a moment. We're going to take the right foot and we're going to bring it to the side. If you want to stretch your IT band, your shin should be in alignment with the front of your mat. If that's a little too much, you can tuck the heel more towards your hip so you find the right place for you, but play around with it. So you might want to sit on your side, move your shin more parallel with the front of the mat, or tuck it in, find a few different places, and then really choose the one that's right for you. If you spend a lot of time running, your IT bands might be tight. So then having the parallel shin will help you with that. And your IT band goes from the outside of your hip to the outside of your knee. So it's that long muscle on the outside of your thigh. That's tight. Try to work your shin towards the front of the mat. So this is one variation of pigeon pose. When we have straight arms, we want to try to work our hips down towards the floor and create a small back bend for ourselves. So a little bit of extension in that lower spine. If you want to take it in a different direction, you can walk your hands out a little farther so you're leaning over your leg a little bit more. You could drop down to your forearms, or you could fully extend out over your leg. So find the place that works for you, and I want you to relax into it. If all of these are uncomfortable, the other option is to shift so that you're sitting on your side, so the whole side of your leg is down against the floor of the mat, and just lean forward over the leg with your legs supported by the floor, and then from there you can lean forward. And you're still getting a benefit out of the pigeon pose, but it takes a little stress off of the front knee. At this point, I want you to just close your eyes, re-ground yourself. Sometimes pigeon pose can be an uncomfortable one. And I want you to be present with that discomfort. Find something to open, find something to relax. There's always something that you can relax, even when things are uncomfortable. Maybe that's your jaw, or maybe it's your forehead or your hands, but find something. Take another deep breath. Open your eyes, and then return to a high pigeon pose, just like I'm in right now. And then we're going to transfer the weight to our hands. We're going to turn the left toe under, and we're going to lift our body up, and we're going to step our hands back, and we're going to lift up into downward facing dog. Remember the tailbone here and look forward in your downward facing dog. When you're in downward facing dog, it doesn't really matter. There are some times where it's better to hang your head down. Other times where looking forward is a benefit. Since we're focusing on the neck today, I want you to look forward so that you're engaging those muscles in your neck, squeezing the shoulder blades. From here, we're going to raise the left foot into three-leg dog. Then we're going to open our hips to the back of the room. And as you lift that leg, You might get a little more room in your right heel so that you can drop the heel down to the floor, pushing through the hands, opening the hip, bending the knee, continuously turning that hip out towards the side. Take a deep breath here. And when you're ready, swing that leg forward so it's outside of your left foot. So left foot is outside of the hands. Sink into it, keep that back leg straight and strong. Looking forward, chin up, trying not to hang the head down. Take a deep breath. Hold this lunge. This is called lizard pose. And then from here, we're going to lift the left arm up to the ceiling, opening the chest to the front. Keep that back leg straight and strong. Here's the point. If you want to add on, left arm can go behind the back. Right arm can raise up outside of the leg as you twist. Just be sure to keep that back leg straight and strong. Keep the chin tucked in, looking up, not hanging your head down. Hold it here. Nice deep breath. Then return the hands to the floor. We're back to pigeon pose, dropping the right knee down to the floor. And this is the point where we decide where we want our leg in pigeon pose. So play around. You can tuck it in nice and tight. You can go shin parallel with the front of the mat, or you can rest on the side of your leg like I'm doing right now. Whatever place you choose, we're going to try the different positions, see what feels best for you. Remember, we want to be out of our comfort zone, but not in pain. So you go straight arms. You can walk your arms out. You can drop down to the forearms. You can fully extend, or you can do that all from laying on the side of your leg. So you find the pigeon that works for you. Make sure though, whatever you're doing, keeping your upper back engaged, keeping your chin tucked in. And then close your eyes and take some grounding breaths. One more deep breath. Then open your eyes and bring yourself up to a high pigeon. Then from here, you're going to tuck the right foot under, lift that leg, and we're stepping back this time to plank. Now we're going to drop down to a modified plank, keeping our hips low, bend the knees, lift the feet so that you're on the quadriceps. We're going to work a muscle called the serratus anterior. Serratus anterior is right underneath kind of your armpit, like going into your chest. And it's called the boxer's muscle because it's responsible for that forward jab motion. It doesn't get a lot of use. So we're going to do it from kind of the side so you can see. What we're going to do is we're going to lift our back, and we're going to drop our chest between the arms. Lift and drop. Lift and drop. So it's a really subtle motion. Your elbows aren't moving at all. You're just dropping your chest low between the arms, lifting up, keeping the lower core engaged. If you want to try it from a high plank, now's your chance. Make sure you're looking up. But you should feel a small muscle right in here working. And that's such an important muscle. Keep going with those. But that's such an important muscle when it comes to pushing forward or slowly dropping down whenever we go into our chaturanga or lifting up into baby cobra. That muscle does a lot for us, so we don't work it very often. And this very subtle motion is one that keeps it working. And we want to make sure we're looking up as we do it. Nice job. Sit back into child pose. Forehead to the mat. Take one more deep grounding breath here. And then we're just going to bring it forward into a high cobra position. High cobra shouldn't be painful. So you want to make sure that your hips are still touching the floor, your belly's still touching the floor. You're pulling your shoulder blades back, lifting your head. And you shouldn't feel pain in your lower back. If you do feel discomfort in the lower back, try walking your hands out a little farther or dropping down a little bit farther on the mat so that your belly button's on the mat, or maybe even your ribs. So everyone's got a high cobra. It might be right here today, and that's okay. Don't worry about how other people are doing it. Not that you can see them, but don't worry about how I'm doing it. Just find the space that works for you. Make sure you're looking up. And we're going to take a subtle change down into Sphinx pose. And when we go into Sphinx pose, we're dropping our elbow underneath our shoulder. And now we're going to use our serratus anterior. We're going to lift our neck and spine up. We're going to pull the chest in between the arms. You really can't see it happening, but you'll feel it happening. So it's almost like you're pulling your elbows back towards your hips. You're pushing your chest forward. You're tucking your chin in and looking forward. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. Hold it here. You should feel your upper body pretty engaged in this pose. Even though it doesn't look like you're doing a whole lot, you're working a lot of those small stabilizer muscles. Very well done. Let's drop down to the mat. Give those muscles a break. We're going to bend both knees. We're going to grab one foot at a time. Now, if that didn't happen for you easily, or you couldn't really get into that pose, you could take it one leg at a time. So the other arm is extended forward and the other leg is resting. And what we're going to do, whether you have one leg or both, we're going to push our feet into our hands, and that pushing motion is going to lift our body up, and I want you to look up. This is bow pose. If you're doing it from single side, you're just lifting up on one side. If you're doing single side, now's the time to change. If you're doing both feet, keep it there. Keep looking up. Keep that neck engaged. Keep the back engaged. Pushing your feet into your hands. Keep lifting and breathing. Looking up. And drop down. Well done. Drop down to the floor. Bring the chin down towards the floor. Bring the forehead to the floor. Take a deep breath. And then with your arms extended, make your legs as tight as you can. And we're going to raise the upper body up. Holding it here, let's look up. If that's tough, again, you can go on one side. So half of your body's resting on the floor. So you either have both arms, both legs up, or one arm, one leg. If you were doing single side, now's the time to change. If you're doing both sides, stick with it. You're almost there. Look up. This is working the lower back, the upper back, the back of the neck, the mid back, and drop down. Well done. Sit back into child's pose. Give your lower back just a little bit of a break. Take a deep breath and then roll forward. We're going to give ourselves some cat cows. Lifting the tailbone up as high as you can, looking up as high as you can in cow pose, then exhaling into cat pose. When we exhale, we use our abdominal muscles. So use the exhale to use your abdominals to lift through the spine, looking all the way down, resting through the back of the neck, and then engage the back of the neck, engage the lower back, drop the belly down as you go into cow. So just keep flowing through these. And then whenever you're ready, we're going to bring it back, seated in the center of our mat. We only have about 2 minutes left, so I want you to rock side to side, get yourself even on one side and the other. Sit up nice and tall, inhale up. We're going to tilt to the right, keeping both hips flat. Hold it here. Bring it back to center. Take it to the other side. Bring it back to center. Now we're going to exhale, extend forward as far as you can comfortably. Use your hands to press your hips back. to keep your hips anchored. We don't want our hips to raise off of the mat. And just relax here. And once you're in this position, I want you to look up. So this is the last time we're really engaging the upper neck. So look up here, feel that engagement in the back of the neck. Then walk the hands back. So that nice and tall, fingertips to the ears, open and squeeze. Look all the way up. Bring your neck to neutral. We're going to bring the other foot in front. Inhaling up, both arms up. We're going to tilt to the right. Make sure that our neck is neutral here, so our chin's tucked in. Sometimes when we raise our arms, we have the tendency to push our head forward. So try to keep that, your ears and your upper arms in alignment. Take it to the other side. Bring it back to center and then extend forward as far as you can. Try not to let your hips raise. If they do, just use your hands to press back. And instead of looking up this time, I want you to look down, relaxing through the back of the neck. Pull your chin to your chest. Take another deep breath. Then walk the hands back. Fingertips to the ears. Last time we're stretching through the neck or open, working the neck. Look up. Elbows open. Squeeze the shoulder blades. Really squeeze. Really look up. Taking one more deep breath. And then bring it down. Inhale up. Palms come together. Exhale. Bring it down. And I wish you all namaste. Thank you so much for your participation today. Hope your neck feels good. Just a quick reminder, this is we did this one time for class, but this exercise here where your fingertips go behind your ears and you open wide and squeeze the shoulder blades and look all the way up, if you could do that 3 times a day for 3 rounds of 10 seconds. So that wake up in the morning, go 3 rounds, count to 10, take a break, count to 10, take a break, count to 10, and then do it again at lunch and again at dinner. You'll see results in your neck and your cervical spinal angle in like a week, just in your posture, because you're working those muscles and it keeps your chin tucked in. So I challenge you all to give it a try for a week, 3 times a day, 3 rounds at 10 seconds apiece, and see if you don't see some better feeling in the back of your neck and better posture. Not that you have bad posture, but if we've been spending a lot of time on computers, it might be something that can sneak in. So thank you, everybody.